Hey everybody, welcome back to Thinktwice, the weekly show where we talk about things that are going on in the world of Magic the Gathering and pop culture. As a reminder, you can find us on a variety of social media, twitch.tv, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and now, by popular demand, Stitcher. You can find us at Thinktwice MTG on all of these channels, so if you're feeling particularly generous or nice today, please subscribe to us on any of those social media channels and leave us a very nice review. For episode 41, I'm your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi.
Hey, Justin. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great, actually.
Great?
Not just good, great.
Why so
doing
great?
Fantastic. Because yesterday,
yeah,
in our yesterday, in sometime in the past, depending on when someone's watching this, we were invited to participate in the MTG Arena Early Access event from Wizards of the Coast, where we get to play with Dominaria cards and draft before anyone else on MTG Arena. So that was pretty awesome.
What did we play?
Well, last week the question of the week was kind of a special one because we asked people, what do you want to see a deck built around? And of course, by a significant margin, Lich's Mastery trounced the competition. So you brewed up this beautiful Lich's Mastery deck with the best deck name in history of Magic.
Son of a Lich.
Son of a Lich. Which is a combination of Lich's Mastery combo control deck and Approach the Second Sun combo control deck.
Yeah, we actually...
go
ahead.
We only lost one, and that was because we got real greedy.
And we also punted, didn't we?
We punted and got greedy.
Yeah, both.
and still barely lost.
Yeah. That deck was fun. Deck is really fun.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing that event.
Yeah. I'm glad they invited us. I'm very thankful they did. It was fun.
Me too.
I enjoyed playing Standard. I enjoyed drafting. I enjoyed the animations. I enjoyed the entire thing. MTG Arena is like a blast to play for me. I like it so much more than Magic Online.
Man, I do too. I mean, I don't even play Magic Online. It's not that I've never played Magic Online. I have. I just don't like it very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arena is a lot more up my alley, and it's not just because
Me
it's
too.
like I don't want to think it's like a simplified version of Magic. It's actually just like a more intuitive and, to me, engaging way to play Magic.
I mean, I think it's Magic. It's literally Magic.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But I think because like people are like, oh, you don't have to tap your own lands and it does stuff for you. It's like, dude, you don't like.
You can.
I think people are focusing on the wrong thing, and you can just do that if you want. You can just turn on basically what I've been calling like Magic Online mode, where you can just turn that on and have that as an option.
Yeah, it's called full control in the game.
Yeah.
It's called full control, where you tap whatever lands you want to tap to cast whatever spell you want to cast.
You maintain priority on all of your own spells.
Yeah.
It's basically like full priority passing, like Magic down to a science.
Yeah. It has that too. It has that too. Feel like that. So, I personally like tapping front on spells, mostly because I tend to play a lot of decks with deserts in them, and Magic Online doesn't like tapping your Ifrit Deadlands or your Shifet Dunes in case you need them. But I want to tap them right away because I don't want to take pain. But yeah. But other than that, that's not even a bad thing. Like,
honestly, I think the best way to do it is like do a little combo. You like tap the lands that you want to make sure are tapped, and then let it do the rest for you. Yeah. It's a lot of fun though. I think I don't want to speak for both of us, but I know a couple of my favorite things were the draft portion, obviously, because I think the draft is really clean and nice. We talked about that a lot on our stream yesterday, and if you missed that, you can find it on our. You can either find the replay on twitch.tv/ThinktwiceMTG or YouTube ThinktwiceMTG on our channel there. But not only the draft, but we were some of the first people to experience a lot of the new animations for the Dominaria cards.
Oh man, yeah.
And a lot of them are super awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed Constructed more than I did Limited, and I absolutely loved the sagas. I'm so glad the first one we saw was Friction Scriptures because Unfurled.
We saw like 5 on the day.
Yeah.
And that remained the sweetest one.
Yeah.
with Phyrexian scriptures for
sure.
sure.
If you've seen like the Elish Norn Judge promo, I think it is, where it's like written in Phyrexian and has like all like the words and like line through it and stuff. That's basically what it was, but it just looked cool, and it was like it was awesome.
It was awesome.
Speaking of that card, that was the first time I actually got to play with it, and that card is really, really, really good.
Yes, I think it is. It looks like it's like a Wrath of God that your opponents can play around, but I actually think that it serves a greater purpose. We were playing yesterday with no creatures, like in our deck at all.
Yeah, it's not Wrath of God. It's a Plague Wind. It's a Plague Wind that your opponent that you don't tap after you Plague Wind. It's like you Plague Wind, then untap with no creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's like it basically says like suspend 1, destroy all creatures your opponents control.
Yeah, your opponent can't play more creatures. Like basically, if you play it, your opponent can't really realistically play any more creatures onto the battlefield because when you untap, you'll kill them all.
Yeah, and then you have all of your mana available.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid you have a creature yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because you make it 1 bigger and make it an artifact so it survives the Phyrexian scriptures. And like honestly, I think it would be difficult if you're playing a deck that you're specifically take advantage of Phyrexian scriptures. If you had that lined up, if you played like any sort of sizable 3-drop and then played Phyrexian scriptures on turn 4, and then wrath the board on turn 5, sands your creature.
Yeah.
I think it's really difficult to lose the game after that.
I had that on stream today actually. I was playing. I was trying to port the black-white Son of a Lich deck to Magic Online.
Yeah.
And I got to play Lyra on 5 and Scriptures onto Lyra for the flavor, and then I got to
for the flavor potentially.
Yeah. Well, she was complete. All will be one.
Yep. And she was.
She was one.
So I imagine you went on to handily win that game.
I won that one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. We compared it yesterday to the card Doomsayer in Hearthstone.
Yep.
Because Doomsayer basically it basically says like during your next at the beginning of your next turn destroy all creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But Doomsayer is a creature in Hearthstone that you can get rid of pretty easily. And Phyrexian Scriptures is an enchantment that you cannot get rid of very easily.
And Doomsayer is a world effect. Like everything dies.
Just everything.
Phyrexian Scriptures is non-artifact, so I do think this weekend I'll be in Atlanta, but I'll be surprised.
Someone's going to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will play with the Antiquities War, Warlord Virtuoso, Maverick Thopterist, Karn. Like Karn makes artifacts. So
there's a lot of ways.
Yeah, that card is really good.
Yep, I think it is a super super sweet card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we're not here to talk about Standard today. That was last week. We're here today to talk about Dominaria from a different perspective. One that I'm sure a lot of people felt like was maybe missing from our Dominaria segment last week, and that is not only Commander, but also the brand new Highlander format, Brawl. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to break down Dominaria for both of those two formats. So we finally come back to Dominaria with a theme that is fitting for Magic's most popular format. And I'm not talking about Modern, Ali.
No, not Modern?
I'm talking about Commander. You know it. I know it. The listeners know it.
Everyone
Wizards obviously knows it.
Yeah. Commander is definitely the champion of the most played format.
It is. It is certainly the most played format. And I'm going to make a bold proclamation.
Okay.
Dominaria is the best set for Commander in history. Period.
I think it's very
I don't even think it's close.
I mean, good job.
No, I'm serious. You joke, but I'm talking every Commander product. I'm talking every Magic set ever this is the best one. This is the best one, and it seems obvious, right? Because there's so many good legendary creatures, or just so many legendary creatures.
I think just the first Commander product kind of beats the other, right?
I don't think so. I think this is better.
Okay.
I think this is going to have a longer lasting impact on the future of Commander than any other format in Magic's past and for the foreseeable future. And it's not like, the crazy thing about this is Dominaria is, it's not so good for Commander in the way that you think, because it's not there's not a lot of role player cards. There's a lot of meat, but there's not a lot of potatoes. You know what I'm saying?
No.
No?
I don't get that saying.
There's a lot of, okay, so like, and meat and potatoes is something that's like the bulk of it. That's the like the main portion that you're worrying about. But just the meat, that's like the headliner, right?
Okay.
The headliner for the meal, it's like if you go to a restaurant, you're not like, I'll order the mashed potatoes and the green beans and whatever other thing comes with that. And they're like, the steak, sir? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll have that steak too. Just give me those mashed potatoes and green beans. That's not how it goes. It's like, I'll have the steak entree. Oh, what are your sides? Mashed potatoes and green beans.
All right. Thank you for explaining that to me.
There's a lot of steak in this set. There's not a lot of mashed potatoes in this set. There's not a lot of role players that are going to fit in a lot of decks, but there are cards in this set, obviously, and this sounds obvious, but I do want to make this distinction, that are going to form their own decks for the next infinity, for the rest of Magic's existence. But it's not like you're not putting a lot of these cards in like all of your decks. You're not like, oh man, Multani, I'm going to stick this in every single green deck that I make forever. I'm not going to stick, Joyra, every single blue-red deck that I play forever, I'm going to put Joyra in. No, yep. Those are decks that are going to be made from those cards, but they're not going to go within decks so frequently.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, you're right. I was going to nothing. No, I was just like thinking about like how crazy this set is, and like, I don't know. It's not just great for like commanders. It's great for everything.
It is great for everything. But I want to talk about Commander.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's why I stopped.
And not only just for Commander, but a new format that we haven't talked about a lot on the show is Brawl.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Brawl is a new format that Wizards is trying out. It's essentially standard Commander. Instead of 100-card decks, you get 60-card decks. You can only play with cards that are in Standard, including the Standard ban list. There's no Commander damage. You start at 30 life, and this rule that I've been pushing for the last 3 years, especially on this show, is that you can use Planeswalkers as your generals.
Hooray!
Which, again, I think is totally fine for regular Commander. Like, totally fine for regular Commander. Anyway, in Brawl, you can do that. It's still singleton. You still have to go by your Commander's color identity, but everything else is the same.
I was gonna say, have you noticed? I just noticed this when we talk about it. This is also very reminiscent of like a little reminiscent of Hearthstone, just a little bit. Like the Brawl format. It's not Tavern Brawl, but like it's singleton. It's 30 life. In Hearthstone, your starting life total is 30. And no, because Hearthstone's not singleton. It's not singleton, but the Brawl, like, it's kind of, I think it's kind of unique. They called it Brawl, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like thinking too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because when I think of Brawl, because I play Hearthstone, I think of Tavern Brawl, I guess,
Sure.
Yeah.
But when you think of Standard, you think of Magic, right?
Yes.
But Standard is also, Hearthstone's standard format.
Oh, I agree. Standard is Hearthstone standard format, and it's hexes. But when everything is Standard, I think of like Magic,
Using a Magic,
it's
of
like
course.
it was like the
It's the first.
Yeah.
Because it was the first one that did it. So Hearthstone was the first game that used the words
Brawl. Yeah.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Um,
That's probably why.
I mean, Hearthstone's drafting format's called Arena.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I think Magic Arena is going to probably take that over as more synonymous. But either way, no, this doesn't really remind me of Hearthstone. This is just a way. Brawl is a way, in my opinion, to get people into playing Commander. You have the cards that you have the easiest access to that are the least expensive overall. Brawl decks, they're only 60 cards. They're not going to cost you that much comparatively to a regular Commander deck. And there's people complaining like, oh, I don't want to play Brawl because my cards are going to rotate out. It's like, then it's not for you. It's fine. It's it's an opt-in experience. Like no one's forcing you to play it.
I really like it because like I can play without having to worry about, you know, because Commander, usually if you build a good Commander deck, you have to buy cards that aren't necessarily at your at your local store. You have to like buy them online or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of like unique cards.
Yeah, exactly. But with Brawl, you don't have to do that. Like you can literally go through the bulk of your of your local game store's collection, and just pull cards from there. This is great. This is great for stores too because now stores can sell their bulk stuff too. So like Brawl is just an overall win-win for everybody.
It is. It's like people forget that like this is just gonna make more people play Magic. Everyone wins when more people play Magic. Like it's that simple. If people are spending more time and thinking about Magic more and spending more money on Magic, even if you're not doing it, you're still going to benefit from that. Like it's not people are like, oh, it's going to make cards go up in price, so it's going to make cards you own become more valuable. Like, is that what people are complaining about? One, I don't even necessarily think that that's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Because like Ollie said, like having bulk not be dirt cheap is great. There's a lot of other games where that's the case. Like the Pokemon card game, their cards are more expensive than Magic cards on average because there's less chafe. And there's no draft format, but that's a whole different discussion. But Brawl is a way for people to use the cards that they have, or the cards they have easy access to, ones they can buy at their local game store or at Walmart or Target. Yeah. You can get these cards really easily. Yes. And then you have a person that most likely in the future is going to be turned from Brawl into Commander. Much like a lot of people get into Modern from Standard, the same thing can happen with Brawl.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that Brawl can very easily go to Arena as well. It's very transferable to Arena.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
When they announced it, I actually was under the assumption that this was going to be coming to MTG Arena like immediately.
Man, that's also what I thought about. Like, it makes like cards like Cast Out just like, oh wow, right now Arena's games of one. Cast Out makes so much more sense now because you need like main deck Artifact, Enchantment Destruction, and Cast Out is good in Brawl.
It gets everything.
Yeah, Cast Out is good in Brawl. Cast Out is good in Arena. Those kind of cards are just like cycling cards in general are just good. Like Forsake the Worldly is good in Brawl. It's good in Commander. It's good in Arena. That's right now games of one. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And speaking of
games, they're thinking.
And speaking of one, that is in my opinion because I've had the chance to play both Brawl as a single, like a 1v1 format and a multiplayer format, and I actually think that Brawl is better as a 1v1 format, and I think that's how it's primarily going to be adopted. There's going to be there's not a lot of like game-breaking multiplayer spells in Standard. And if there are, everyone's going to know you have them because there's just so few and far between. So there's going to be a lot of board stalls if you're playing multiplayer Brawl. In 1v1, you're focused on a singular opponent, and Brawl by nature is going to lend people to try to create the most powerful deck they can because it's not like you can go crazy, right?
Yeah. It's
just like you're playing Standard. You're just trying to make a deck that's powerful, but you still have a lot of different variation in what you can do within that format, especially with Dominaria.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, Ollie, you and I both have some lists. Since you're the Standard Master, the resident Thinktwice Standard Master, I'm going to let you give me your top 10 list of Brawl cards, and then I'm going to give you my top 10 list of Commander cards for Dominaria.
Okay. So my top 10 mine is not in order. Mine is just
That's fine.
Mine's just top 10. So I have Jaya Ballard. I think Jaya Ballard would be an excellent one to build around. And again, in Brawl, you can have a Planeswalker as your commander / general.
I think Jai is really, really awesome in that sense.
Yep, I agree. And then from there, after that, I have Squee. I think with Squee, you can you'll need to build around. You'll need to have some sort of sacrifice outlets to fully abuse him. But the fact that you can let him die, and he's always going to cost 3. His commander won't go. His price won't go up because no matter where he's at, you can just cast him again because he's Squee.
Yep.
So that's kind of almost it's not Duretti, but it's in a way it's kind of.
No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's basically you're always going to be able, it's going to do the same job from turn 3 through the rest of the game
for 3 mana.
You never have to put more resources into it. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's going to be a role player.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think so for sure.
Yep. Then we have Muldrotha, the Gravetide. This is a sweet Soul Tide General, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the sweetest.
Yeah, it reminds me of Gitrog, but Gitrog didn't have blue, but it's still it still has an awesome aspect. The art's awesome, the name's awesome. The Gravetide, it's just a cool card. I think it's also a powerful card. So.
Yes, for sure. That and one more card on your list. If I make a Brawl deck, I haven't made one yet, but it's between that and one other card that I would be making the Brawl deck around.
All right, well, Demon Lord Bells and Lock is on my list. Is that the card?
It's not the one.
Oh wow, okay.
It's not the one.
Okay, that's crazy. Well, I'm shocked.
I know.
Well, there's a lot of mono black matters cards in this set. While those cards may or may not be good enough for standard, they're definitely good enough for Brawl.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
it's still a 6/6 flyer for 6 that's going to draw you a handful of cards.
Yeah, and your life sire, so you can,
you can abuse it a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. After that, I have another mono black legendary, Whisper, Blood Liturgist.
Blood Liturgist. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that name is sweet. Just Whisper.
It is. Whisper is great.
Yeah, it reminds me of the. I don't know you're like this by Kamigawa type names or Wonder or those old names. There's Wonder, there was the Filth, and then there was.
That's not from Kamigawa. That's from Judgment, dude.
Right, you're right. You're right. But there's also but that name even It That Betrays is also not from Kamigawa, but it's that type of name that's that just seems ancient. It's basically a word or something that's happened before words were a thing. You whisper before there were words,
you're describing someone by an adjective.
Yeah, it's just cool. I don't know.
You know what it makes me think of?
What?
The Yin Yang Twins, the Whisper song.
I don't. I've heard that song.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
Hey, little mom, I'm whispering you.
Nope. Anyways, I think this is great, especially with creatures that when they come to play that make tokens. It's because you can just keep trading in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So that's a cool card. After that, Danitha Capuchin Paragon.
Danitha? I think it's just Danitha.
Danitha. I think it's Danitha. You're right. That's how it sounds better. Danitha Capuchin Paragon. Her ability just is powerful. She's like a Thalia. The 3 cost 1, but just different. She makes all your equipment auras cost.
It's like Thalia.
I mean, it's hard to explain. That's what it is. Instead of punishing your opponent, she rewards you. Thalia, Heretical Cathar made all your opponents non-basic kind of tapped. Had first strike, it's 3/2. Danitha just reduces everything for you, which is fantastic.
This is from a flavor perspective. This is one of my favorite cards in the set. One, it's obviously it's an incredibly powerful card. It would have been a rare in I think probably every other Magic set that came before this one. It's a 2/2 for 3 with Vigilance, Lifelink, first strike, and makes your equipments and auras cost 1 less.
Yeah.
So it's literally keyword soup. But the flavor behind it, Danitha Capuchin, Paragon. Paragon means like perfection. Like it's basically like the example of perfection. And obviously, from the Capuchin bloodline that like Gerard was kind of bred to be like the perfect specimen
Yeah.
for Urza.
Yeah.
And then Danitha, in the same vein, is like the perfect soldier.
Yeah.
So that's just really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Next one is just another Planeswalker. Obviously, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. It's good. We all know why. No need to linger on this too much. It's just a powerful card in general.
Yep, it is a powerful card. I would say if you're interested in seeing a Teferi Hero of Dominaria Brawl deck, you should watch Commander Versus sometime in the near future. I'm just saying. Just randomly saying that.
All right.
Just keep watch.
All right. I'll keep watching.
Okay, good. Thank goodness.
All right. Next one I have is Joria, Weatherlight Captain. That card's going to be a beating if you can, man, you have Mox Amber, you have Prophetic Prism, you have a bunch of just one-drop things, you have Ornithopter, you have Aetherflux Reservoir, you have that card that returns Paradoxical Outcome. You can just do some disgusting things with Joria. She's definitely gonna be a combo deck, I imagine. So
there's a lot.
Yes, watch out. Watch out.
Joira is that's my other one that I'm deciding between with Muldrotha.
That's not fair.
I got to pick between I picked the 4 best colors in Magic, and I got to figure out how I want to split them up.
I'll tell you what. I'll be okay. I'll be okay with you playing her if you include a planar bridge in the deck.
Maybe. Planar is so expensive, man.
I know.
It's so expensive.
That's what I'm saying.
I do have a planar bridge it's in my binder.
Well, I'm just saying though, otherwise it's just too broken. All right, next one, Raph Capuchin, another Capuchin. Yep. Ship's Mage. Raph is just fantastic. He has Flash, and then he gets everything else Flash. So it's very much the style for a blue-white control player.
Oh yeah.
So you can choose between Raph or
Teferi.
Teferi. So if you're the tap up person, you play Teferi. But if you want to be the counter magic Flash, not tap out control, you play Raph. I think that that's just great. They can do either or, And of course you can play Raph in the Teferi commander or vice versa. But
yeah. I think they're both very kind of specific decks.
Exactly. Yes.
They both can go in each other's decks, and they probably will.
Yes.
But you're only really taking advantage of one of them, ultimately.
Yeah, I think Raph is probably the better one overall.
I think overall it probably is.
Yeah.
I think you can only go one way with Teferi, and that's hard line control.
Yeah. And the last one, the one I want to do.
Shocking.
Can you guess? I'll give one guess.
I would say it's a card we played on stream yesterday.
Yes.
To great success and absolutely slaughtered our opponent.
Oh my god, it was great. You guys just watch that. Okay, the card we're talking about is Tetova, Benthic Druid.
Beautiful.
She is beautiful.
She is in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah.
That beautiful mana cost, sizable body, not going to get beaten up by any Shivan Fires or anything like that.
Or lightning strikes or braids, but it doesn't matter.
Well, no, it can get got by those,
but she's obviously really cool. She said whenever you play a land, gain a life. No, you play. Sorry, whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, gain a life and draw a card. So Evolving Wilds.
I want to point out.
Yes.
It says gain 1 life and draw 1 card. There's a word that is absent in her text box. There's no may.
We learned that not the hard way. We learned that yesterday.
Yeah.
So
you must draw.
So if you want to see my brew in Arena that Justin and I played yesterday, you can watch that.
I highly recommend it.
It was
highly recommend.
It's kind of fun because opening
excellent use of your time.
Opening hand, Justin was like, "Yep, this is not my hand." I was like, "Okay, let's go." I kind of wish little off tangent from yesterday because you guys, if you guys have not seen the Arena stream that we got, you guys have got to watch it. It was awesome.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube.
So I'm just going to reference that a little more. I wish we had taken this deck for our last match instead of the Planeswalker deck, because this deck would have wrecked the other deck.
Oh God.
It would have been a beating, but
I mean, I don't.
No,
I think that's no. That's not what I was going to say. Oh, it would have. I think that's the best deck that we played yesterday.
Which one?
The Simic deck.
Okay.
Like overall, like the Lich's Mastery deck was the most fun deck, and we. Oh God, I wish we'd won that last game because like it would have been such an insane comeback.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Like she has innate ability, and like when I was building the deck, my plan was to play Multani, River's Rebuke, and attack them, and then I attacked, and Justin's like, yeah, he's got to block. I'm like, what? He's like, with all the creatures, like, I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, Multani has trample, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's nice. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that, but okay. So yeah, this deck was sweet. Tachova definitely gonna build a deck around her, and that's my top 10 Brawl cards.
Excellent. Okay, so for Commander, there's gonna be some repeats. I'm gonna give everybody a heads up. So I'm gonna go from 10 to 1 because I do have mine in order. I have a few honorable mentions that I couldn't fit in the top 10 because there's just so many good cards. My 3 honorable mentions are Shiley, Voice of Plenty, an excellent Selesnya Commander. If you're going wide, you can put counters on all your creatures. Another honorable mention is Grand Warlord Rada. This is definitely going to be making it into my Ulashed tokens deck. And then Sylvan Awakening, which is a it's basically Rude Awakening's little brother. You don't get untap your lands, but they get haste and indestructible. So it's gonna perform similarly very frequently.
And reach, just like a fog. If you want to be a fog.
And reach, yeah. If you don't want to attack, you're just like, well, I'll just play this.
Emergency fog, yeah.
Yeah, emergency that you can also kill your opponents with.
Yep.
Yeah. Good card. All right, number 10 is Evra Halcyon Witness. This is the 4/4 for 6 with lifelink, and you can switch your life total with Evra's power. So if you're at 40, you can turn her into a 44. Put yourself at 4, but if it's in combat, Evra has lifelink, and you can go right back up 40 more life. Also, if you have infinite mana and a way to give her like a +1/+1 counter, you have infinite life. Because you can keep switching the power, Evra's power and your life total as many times as you want, and every time it'll increase by 1, or however many counters that Evra has, or if it has an equipment on it that increases its power. Okay, number 9 is Lyra Dawnbringer. This is going to be it's obviously just a Baneslayer Angel in most formats, but in Commander, this is now the de facto Angel Commander. You can literally make Angel tribal because even though it's really small, that it gives Angels +1/+1 and lifelink. That's enough. That's enough to make decks around Lyra that are featuring Angels. Number 8 is a card that is one of the cards that I'm personally most excited about, and that's Slimefoot the Stowaway. Slimefoot is a token, obviously a token making general, and specifically cares a lot about saplings and fungus cards, which there's a lot of in Magic that make those, especially in this set. And it's good. Obviously, green, you make the tokens. Black, you sacrifice them and profit from Slimefoot being in play. You gain life, they lose life. It's basically right up my alley for what I want to do. Number 7 is Tatyova Benthic Druid. Just like Ollie said, this card's going to be great in regular Commander too. This is one of the few cards on the list so far that I actually think is going to go in almost every deck that you can fit it in. As far as like if you have a Simic deck, unless it's like solely creatures focused, even if it's not like 100% creatures focused, I think that Tatyova goes into like all of your Simic decks. Number 6 is Joyra, Weatherlight Captain. Even more than in Standard, Joyra has an infinite number of historic spells to work with, and you're like this is finally the artifact-based Izzet Commander that this game has been waiting for years.
Yep. And
it's Joyra costs 4, which is obviously like a fairly cheap mana cost for commanders in that format. and you can immediately go off with her ability. Go off because it's gonna be hard to not make it a kind of a combo-y deck.
It's very hard. Yeah,
It's gonna be hard not to. It's one I'm looking forward to seeing in action, and probably will learn to hate as I continue to play against it in Commander. Number 5 is Blackblade Reforged. This is going to be a card that is going to cause a lot of people to lose to commander damage. It basically it gives your legendary creature for the low cost of like 5 mana the ability to get +1/+1 for each of your lands. So it's a lot like Stratascythe from like Scars of Mirrodin, but you have to be playing basic lands like for the most part and like a monocolored deck to take advantage of that. This is just like you have lands. Great.
Cool.
How about +7/+7? How about +8/8? How about +9/9?
Yeah, this is really good in like a mono blue brawl deck too, like Tetsuo, Umezawa, Slither Braid, Invisible Stalker, River Sneak, Mistcloak Herald.
Yes, it does cost 7 to equip to a creature if it's not legendary.
Yeah, still, that's trying to kill them.
But still, yeah. But I mean, like it's like +X/X. It's not just power, so it's gonna make like it makes killing the creature pretty difficult, like even in combat. Like you just have to block it with so many of your creatures.
You also have the blue flying gen, real quick. Sorry.
Tempest gen.
Yeah, which is yeah.
But Blackblade, this is going to be any deck that even is like, do I want to ever attack my opponents with my commander? If the answer is yes to that, it's going to have like Blackblade will be in the deck. Like I honestly just think it's that simple because it's so efficient. It doesn't have any tricks or any cool abilities. It's just like raw power that's going to beat you over the head with.
It's a nice way for Tachioba decks too to be like, okay, I've played all my lands now. Now I'll play the Blackblade. Now my 3/3 that you thought was like harmless is just going to kill you in one hit.
Yep. Obviously, Blackblade Reforged, in my opinion, goes best into Simic decks or mono green or mono blue decks. Some combination of green and blue. Green because you obviously have the easiest way to get your lands out, and blue because the power and toughness compared to mana cost is the lowest on blue cards. But this is a cheap way to make your cheap legendary creatures into monsters, absolute monsters. All right, number 4 is the card that I'm personally most excited about in this set for Commander. It doesn't take any of my top 3 spots because I think the 3 cards ahead of it are better. But Trogar, Famine, and Carnot. So this is a card that is like it's basically like it's perfect for me. It lets you, and again, I want to clarify, it lets you sacrifice your creatures for value. It doesn't make you; it allows you to do it. Trogar costs 8, but it costs 2 less for every creature you sacrifice. So as your commander, you can essentially, if you want to, if you build your deck around it, which you're going to because you're playing as your commander, you can always cast this for black. And it sets any player's life total to half of their starting life total. And people are saying, well, it's like, oh, well, you don't want to be like a really aggressive deck because if they're at like 25 and you play Trogar and target them, they're going to go to 20. It's like, well, that's not very good. One, it's actually significantly better than you think it is, even if it's small amounts of damage, because that's just its cast ability. And again, you're almost always going to be casting this for black. 2, you can reset your own life total from lower than 20 back to 20. So if you have stuff like Necropotence, Unspeakable Symbol, Chainer, anything that causes you to pay life or lets you pay life, Erebos, Greed, you can reset your life total back to 20. So if you have a way, Argyl's Bloodfast, yeah. So if you have a way to get, and Argyl's Bloodfast is sweet with this card because you can like, oh, I'm at 5, okay, I'm back to 20, and I flipped it.
Yeah.
If you have a way to abuse drawing cards, like this card is going to be one of the best cards with, oh my gosh, I think Skittering Scourge. Maybe I'm thinking of another. Creature from Urza Saga. No, it's not Skittering Scourge. It's Scourge Familiar. Scourge Familiar. Sorry, I got it. Scourge Familiar, which lets you discard a card and add a black to your mana pool. So this, along with Greed, along with Skittering Scourge and your General, lets you just cycle through your deck because you can like draw a ton of cards, discard them for black mana, play Trogar, go back to 20, do it all again. This is just like there's so many combinations that you can do with this creature. Like I don't want to spend 10 more minutes talking about it because there's other cards on the list, but at some point on Commander Versus, you guys will see me play this, and I will do my best to prove its true power. Number 3 is a card that Ali talked about, but it surprisingly wasn't on his list, and that's Multani, Yevmai's Avatar. This card is one of the most like rawly powerful cards in Dominaria because it has reach and trample, and it's nigh unkillable. Even if you're not playing it as your commander, even if it's in your deck, if they kill it and they don't exile it, it's going to come back. If you sacrifice lands for value, it's just going to get Multani bigger. This is just an excellent way to just kill people. Multani is also the most terrifying thing with Black Vapor Forged.
Yeah.
Like if you that's one-shotting anyone in any format.
Yeah.
Seriously, like literally, what format are you playing? Are you at an absurdly high life total? Well, you're dead.
Yeah, I think it's cool because it's like Lord of Extinction, but in one color and just kind of like better.
I think this card is so much better than Lord of Extinction.
Well,
it has reach and trample.
Yes, I'm saying.
And it has reach. In case you don't want to attack with it, you're like, I block every creature. You literally can't get back. You literally can't get past it.
Yep.
And Shroud is an upgrade over the last Multani because I don't really care. Like if you like with this one, it's like you can kill it, but you better exile it. And if you exile it, it better not be my commander because it's just coming back.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Muldrotha the Gravetide. For the same reasons that Ollie covered in the Brawl section, this card is just outrageously powerful. You have even more tools than regular commander. In my opinion, this is the best Simic commander, and it's going to take a Sultai, not Simic, yeah. The best Sultai commander, and it's going to take a lot to knock it off the throne. My number 1 card for commander in Dominaria is Helm of the Host. This card is insane. There's not many cards, there's not many artifacts that are just must kill artifacts, but this is one of them. If you put this on a regular creature, it's already very good because it makes a copy of it. You don't even have to attack with the creature. Gives a copy haste. Excellent with creatures with activated abilities. But once you start putting on this on your commander, especially a commander that benefits from having its effect doubled, this card gets out of control really, really quickly.
Wait. Okay, so I'm reading this card.
Yeah.
It's like the first time actually getting into it.
Oh, it's an insane card.
If I put this on my Gideon of the Trials,
yes.
Don't make infinite Gideon of the Trials?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not infinite. You make 1 a turn, but...
No, it's infinite, right? Wait. No, it's not infinite.
It's 1 a turn.
Okay.
So, but if you do activate Gideon, turn into a creature, equip this, go to you don't even have to attack.
Okay, sure.
It just has at the beginning of combat.
Right.
I mean, with Gideon, you probably want to.
Yeah.
But you literally just go to combat. You're like, all right, make another Gideon. Okay.
Does the copy come to play with loyalty?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's sick. Okay.
You just make a copy of it.
All right.
This card is legit insane.
All right. It's like Mirror Gallery, but like good.
Yeah. Yes. It does the work for you. It's like they're not legends, and I'm gonna make more copies, and they have haste. Like that's not a small thing.
Oh no, yeah, that's sweet.
This card is also pretty unbeatable in Dominaria Limited. Sure. If you're able to get this. So just another thing. If you don't have this card, it's still pretty cheap. This is like another Panharmonicon was like the last card that's like this card will be worth $10 to $15 in the future. Just like Panharmonicon, this card will be worth more money in the future. Just get it now. You're going to play with it.
All right.
Okay. I have 3 more little things. In my opinion, the most overrated card in Dominaria for Commander is Cabal Stronghold. People are discounting how much less mana this makes you. It's still great in mono black, but you really have to be playing a lot of swamps to make it exceptional. It's not Cabal Coffers. It just looks like it. The most underrated card is Squee the Immortal. I think this card's going to go in a lot of red decks for all the reasons that Ollie was talking about earlier. It's almost impossible to kill. and it's going to continue to do its job over and over again for the entirety of the game, and you can never ever get rid of it.
One way.
And the most what?
There's one way to get rid of it. Bind and
tuck it.
Ixalan's binding.
Well, yeah. Or you can put it in their library.
Yeah, sure. Like spin to myth or something.
Ixalan binding, yeah, that's like one of the only ways.
Yeah.
And then the most properly rated card is Thran Temporal Gateway. This card is very good, but I don't think it makes the top 10. It's a Quicksilver amulet that's going to put Nicol Boluses and Ugins onto the battlefield. But the reason it's not better is because there's not enough like gigantic legendary things that are really expensive that aren't creatures. So you already have Quicksilver amulets, so it's going to be good, and obviously will continue to get better as time goes on. But it's just a really awesome card in general.
But you can put artifacts too, like big artifacts, because it says historic. So you can put like
something. You can.
Yeah.
You can put like a Darksteel Forge.
Yeah.
There are. I mean, it's a very very good card, but it's not broken.
Sure.
Because there's already things that do things for creatures and for artifacts, so it's just more redundancy on those levels.
Fair enough.
Okay. Ali, any other thoughts on Dominaria for Commander or Brawl?
Nope. That's all I got.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to talk about this week's aptly named Return to Dominaria Episode 7. All right, so Ali, even though we somehow speculated correctly last week that this story would be named Return to Dominaria Episode 7. I know, it's crazy. What I want to start doing is I want us to come up with our own name for each of these Magic stories.
Okay.
All right, so the one that the name that I came up with for this one, and you come up with your own name.
Okay.
Is Teferi Man About Town.
Teferi Man About Town?
Yeah. Teferi Man About Town. So why don't you give us a quick rundown of what happened this week in this week's Magic story?
Okay, this is a Teferi flashback, just talking about Teferi and his place. Not too much to talk about, honestly. Like he's just contemplating about he's sad about how he, phased out Zalthir. He's walking around. He's so old now that he's lived for so long, people must have forgotten him. Yeah. He's walking around. He's walking around some more.
He does walk around. Man about town.
He's the man about town. He's walking around. And then someone's like, hey, are you Teferi? He's like, keep dodging the question. Are you Time Mage? Keep dodging the question. Finally.
Teferi, destroyer of Zalthir.
Yeah. Finally. Finally, it's like, okay, like someone's dead because of him, or someone trying to find him is like dead. They go see who it is. Teferi's like, it wasn't a time spell. This was a poison. Made it look like a time spell. Then they're both like, oh my gosh, someone's trying to kill you, Teferi. He's like, yeah, I know. And then out of nowhere, this huge
dude, this happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Huge sandstorm comes. He uses time magic to stop the sandstorm. People realize who he is. Then the guy comes out. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you now because I know you're Teferi." And he tries to kill him with a dagger. Teferi speeds up time on the dagger, makes it like rust away. The guy pulls out glass daggers.
It's like, I got you. I came prepared.
Yeah, you can't accelerate this. And then he's about to kill him. The girl
starts slowing down just enough to when his new future baby mama.
He's like, yo, leave him alone. Are you a killer or not? What are you? He's like, but he killed Zalthir. It's like, you don't know that. He could have saved it. He's like, but he killed, but I was taught growing up that I should hate him because of what he did.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're an idiot. I'm saving both your lives. Stop. So she does. He stops. And yeah, they get married, have a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. Man about town.
Man about town. So I think There were a few things that I liked about this story. Yes.
My favorite part was the ending.
Like when the story ended?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but not because it ended. It's because the way he was describing his daughter, he like
yes,
she was falling.
I like that.
Oh my god, he was falling, and then he froze her in time. Like he froze her before she hit the ground.
Which was like his like natural reaction.
Yeah.
He's like gotta protect her. She's gonna get hurt.
And he hasn't used magic in a long time. He does that out of instinct, and then he's walking. And he's like, okay, well, let me clear the way so when she falls, it doesn't hurt her too much. Like people need to learn from their people need to learn that when they get hurt that they they can get hurt. Like they're not invincible, and when people get hurt and make mistakes, they learn. He's like, okay, I want he's doing this. He's clearing the way, making sure there's no rocks or jab her in the eye or whatever. And then he goes close to her. He undoes his spell, and then he catches her, and she's laughing in his arms.
Aww.
And it's just the feels was because I was listening to it, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's right. Yeah, this is what people should do with kids. This is right. And then afterwards, what he did, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. That's what I want. That's what I want to do deep down. But I'm told it's not correct because you need to let kids learn from themselves or whatever. So it's I don't know. It was just it hit me a little harder than it was like the bait and switch. That was it was good. It was weird because both scenarios are kind of good, but one just hit me more because it was man, nice guy. Just I don't know.
I think it's important that he realized it.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to let her make her own mistakes and fall over and get hurt, but not hurt bad.
Yeah. Then he's
but he's also
not today, though.
But he's also it doesn't have to be right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in this moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was literally the best part. Not because it ended, but it was just it speaks so much by speaking so little.
Yeah. I did really even though I think the story itself, not the specific words in the story, but the overarching story it was told, it's this isn't really getting us anywhere because we know this takes place in the past. I guess really the only thing we learned is that the woman that Teferi met, Shiria, gosh, of course I'm not going to forget it. Ended up being Nambia's mother.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nambia, who we met obviously in the last Magic story. But I really liked Teferi's obviously dramatically affected on a day-to-day basis of resigning himself to the fact that he made this error of judgment decades ago.
Well,
centuries ago.
He keeps flip-flopping. He's back then he was 100% certain, but
he was
now,
this is the right thing to do.
Now he's not so much. So
it's another one of my favorite cards from a flavor perspective in Dominaria is Zhalfir Void, which we see the art for in the story.
Yeah.
And Teferi's saying when he's on that cliff and he's looking into the horizon, he can see the kind of the outline of Zhalfir, even though it's been phased out, but where it was been. And the flavor text on that card is, "The wind whispers, come home, but I cannot." And that's as he's staring out into that Zhalfirian void. He just realizes and that's got to be difficult. Yeah. It's you made this decision, this impossible decision, to save this nation, your nation, not just some place, but where you're from, where everyone is, to save them. But now you're looked on as someone who made this destructive decision, and that clearly wears on him because he knows he can't bring Zhalfir back. It's gone, and he knows that the people are safe and living, healthy lives free of war. But to onlookers, he's the destroyer of Zhalfir.
Yeah.
And now he has this person who is literally has his entire life been taught and told And honestly, it's like it's a pretty good example of xenophobia because this person, Kemp, oh my gosh, of course I'm gonna. There's so many names. The person that tries to kill him, I'm gonna look it up now as I keep going. The person that tries to kill him is not from Zalfir. Obviously, it can't be because it's not possible. It's gone. Let's see. It's Kawende. And he's from basically a nation that is close in proximity to where Zalfir would be, but he's not even from Zalfir. So it's just like he's been taught. He's like, you have to, like Teferi, the destroyer of Zalfir, has like destroyed this nation, and he's this like murderer and this terrible person. And even though like Teferi tries to tell Kawende that, he's just like, no, I've been told my entire life that I need to kill you. And then his lady friend, who I'm gonna get the name for now, since I still can't remember it.
She basically says,
she's like, what are you doing? Like, how is killing him? Like, what does this do?
Yeah, she also like steps in front of him. She's like, okay, either you're a killer or not. If you're a killer, she's like, yeah, she's like, if you're a killer or not. If you're a killer, kill me.
Yeah.
Because if you're killing him, same thing. So
yeah,
what are you?
If you're a killer, you're a killer.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, this is who I'm supposed to kill because this is a bad person.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what about Make It? He's like, that was a bad person too. What about all these other people you're going to kill with this sandstorm? He's like, well, Teferi was going to save him. He was going to save him. Like you're literally going to kill someone who you were expecting to save.
Exactly. Yeah. How's he bad? Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're way out of whack.
You're brainwashed. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like that was one of the most poignant things, in the story, is it's like, but you knew he would save them, but you still want to kill him, is what Subira says. And he's like, he's the destroyer of Zalfir, Kawende shouted. I've been told my whole life that my blood must have vengeance on his. But for why?
Dude,
and he's like, it's so crazy.
Oh my god. I like that it's good. I'll let you finish.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, I like how that is so true because obviously these people are also I don't know the word for it. It's like nomads, or like they're kind of like me. Like I'm brown. I'm from the similar. I was born in a similar area. Like I'm not trying to be like, but anyways. So like, I understand that too because, dude, that's exactly the way it's like in the Middle East. Like you're like
So I guess to be more specific, Ollie, you're Lebanese.
I'm Lebanese. Yes.
Yes.
So where I come from, where I was born, this resonates with me because like I understand, like right now we think this is stupid, it's silly, like how can you do that? But dude, there's people like actually like this.
A lot of people. This is xenophobia.
That are raised like this and taught to hate somebody or hate something, and it's so ingrained in them that they think they're doing something good, and
yeah,
it's crazy. It's like. I don't know. It's crazy, but it definitely rings true because.
Oh yeah.
In Lebanon, there's where I'm from, where I was born. There's a ton of civil war. Lebanon used to be called the city of the Middle East, or not city of the Middle East. Paris of the Middle East. That was Beirut. It was like really beautiful. It was gorgeous. People came there to like see it and party and enjoy themselves. And now it's like just a wreck that's been destroyed because of civil war, and that's because of what people are taught to like hate.
You have these nations going to war for the sake of being from different places, and there's these I mean it's so
they're
like
the same people. They're from the same area.
It's like we're not different. You just hate me because I'm from somewhere different than you, or you fear me because I'm somewhere different than you, even though like none of what you're saying makes sense. It's just someone that had a powerful voice has said this repeatedly to make you believe it.
Yes.
And Teferi goes on. Teferi grimaces. Kawende had been raised on retribution and blood feud for Zalfir, for the loss of the people for a people he had never known, a place he had never seen. He thought killing Teferi was his only way to freedom from that suffocating legacy.
That's sad. Like
it is sad because Teferi's like, he's not even like, he's literally just trying to defend himself. He's like, this guy is so yeah, exactly. He doesn't understand the things that he's saying or thinking, and it's like, how in this moment can I tell this man who's trying to kill me everything you've been told your entire life is a lie, and I'm the one that you're trying to kill. You've been raised your whole life to come for my blood. How are you supposed to believe me in this moment?
Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's weird. It's funny because it explains a lot of the real world stuff. Where when someone's trying to do that, and you're like, wait, don't do that. Don't do this to us, or don't hurt us. Don't bomb this, or don't do that. It's just like.
But they're like, no, you're bad.
You're bad.
Because I've been told you're bad my entire life. Yeah. I know that you're who I'm supposed to kill or be rid of or any of this. And I don't know. It's this is just like obviously a really small part in the story, even though the story is kind of building up to this point. But like that passage in this story, I think, is probably the most important part of this story. Even though I would imagine a lot of readers can't relate to it maybe as well as they hopefully can understand it from the story.
Yeah.
So outside of that, on a lighter note, I really liked. I think Magic Story's been doing a really good job in the last year about getting better at showing each planeswalkers or characters' magic. So we got to look at Teferi's time magic kind of in action and described specifically. And I thought that was really cool. Like we've seen that previously, like obviously with Jace, with Nissa, with Chandra, with Gideon, actually with like all of the Gatewatch, and we've seen it with oh my gosh, what is her name, Tamio. Everyone kind of practicing their magic and seeing Teferi use time magic was really cool because they did spend like details on that, so you could have a better understanding of it.
When do we see Bolus's? Bolus was just
no, you don't. We definitely don't see Bolus's.
No, he's just destroying everything. But this, you said this story was like like a flashback. It's I guess it's what you would call filler if you were an anime fan. Like it's just like it does contribute to the story, but it's more like fluff. Like it's just like fill the gap.
Yeah.
But this made me excited because so when I was reading this, I was like, man, I hope that they do this for Karn because I want to know what Karn's been doing after he left Mirrodin, after he left.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I hope they do for Karn because I'm very curious about him.
They better because now they've done this for all of these other characters.
Yeah.
If we got the Tiana story, the Tiana backstory,
we need Karn too.
Swear to God, we better get the Karn backstory. Yeah. I'll be literally pissed.
I know. Yeah, I want to know what he's been doing. What he's been doing. Hopefully no more cores. Hopefully he's not going to any more cores and contemplating because last time he went to Freaks
has not worked out. That has not worked out, Karn. I'm going to warn you right now.
Yeah. So I'm definitely want to know that, but also after reading the story, like there's like we know he becomes a planeswalker, but after reading the story, we see why before he becomes a planeswalker or he takes his spark back because he wants to undo the void. I imagine he wants to save Zalfir. Like he says, like I will give my life for it. If he's willing to give his life for it, you better sure he's going to take his spark back.
Take Joyer up on. Taking a spark back.
Yeah, for Zalfir, if nothing else. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. And even though, we've talked about this story, the overarching story that has been kind of slow, and that obviously this story kind of continues that trend because this doesn't advance the narrative of the Dominaria story at all. But it's building the characters, and actually Teferi is a character that. Generally, because he's someone we actually spent a decent amount of time with even before. If you've read like the previous Magic stories, from before the Gatewatch.
Yeah.
So Teferi is actually a character that I quite like because he feels very human, like he's really his personality is very relatable. I don't know, I'm not Teferi's one that I'm not sad to see, but I really like watching him interact with other people because he's like the ultimate like, look, I've been around the block. Like I'm gonna let you do what you want, say your piece. I'm not gonna impose myself too much, but I'm gonna do what needs to be done when it needs to be done.
This is another great example of seeing a planeswalker that's the same color as different planeswalker, but completely differently. Like Vraska and whoever else. Like compare Azor to Teferi, and it's just like one's all about law and structure and order and like balance, or not balance, but like just good. We think good and evil, and Teferi just like he's like a chill person that's like good. He's like genuinely good, and it's like completely different, but he's the same colors. Like it's just cool to see that aspect of like the duality of like some people can share the same attributes or same like traits.
Yeah,
but be
still be wildly different. Yeah. Also, this is also fun. So after I read the story, I think this story does answer the question that maybe not everyone's been asking, but I've been asking myself: when did Teferi become blue-white instead of just mono-blue? Mm-hmm. Because previously he has been like a primarily blue character when we last heard from him. And I think the answer is when he gave his spark up, and he realized that he could not reclaim Zhalfir.
It's like self-sacrifice.
To a degree, but more like he kind of had this internalization of like who he was as a person, like actually the man Teferi, not this powerful time mage Teferi. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and he kind of had to be resigned to himself. And since I think that's kind of when the white in him has kind of taken hold of his personality, where previously he was, he was a lot like Urza in the fact that like he wanted to make the best decision based on all of the information that he had, and that was the most important thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's really interesting.
Me too.
Okay, Ali, anything else on Teferi Man About Town?
Nope, Teferi Man About Town is just a good one. Next time I'll come up with a title for you too.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something that a lot of you have asked us to talk about recently, and that is our venture into... I'm trying to come up with a clever thing, but a venture into the HBO series Westworld. Ali, before we get into Westworld Season 2, I want to throw up a spoiler warning for Westworld Season 1. And obviously we're going to get to Westworld Season 2. But I kind of want to recap where we are as we enter into this new season of Westworld.
Okay.
And kind of like how we feel about the show going into it. So when we last saw all of the main players in Westworld, Dr. Robert Ford, played by Anthony Hopkins, had been shot at the unveiling of his new narrative by Dolores/Wyatt. All the hosts... That's so loud.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
all the hosts go ham on the shareholders because they've been kind of freed. Yeah, they've been freed from their kind of the programming to not hurt anyone. So they do the opposite and are just killing everybody. The Man in Black/William gets shot when this breaks out and gets super excited because now there's finally stakes in the game that he's been trying to play for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Charlotte Hale, who's on the board of directors, has been stealing data, and as we don't see her die at the end of season 1, so we assume she's going to be a major player in season 2. Maeve, the host, has full control over all of her thoughts, body, her decision-making, everything, and has control over other hosts as she has the commands to be able to stop them. We also learn, as I'm predicting, obviously we haven't talked about this show in a while, but I'm predicting you're going to be excited about, is that we learned that there's more parks, more Delos parks, including like a Shogun world and like 3 other parks. and everything is thrown into chaos at the very.
Yeah.
So, do you have like what are your thoughts about this show after season 1 before we go into season 2?
Mine. Okay, after season 1. So no.
After
no
after
spoilers.
season 1. No spoilers for season 2. Only spoilers for season 1 right now.
I thought season 1 was amazing. I love the aspect of it. Like I love the idea of it. So this park basically where you get to go and either kill people or have sex with people. Like it was just like a basically do whatever you want type deal.
Yeah.
It was like definitely graphic. Definitely it just it's something that's like wow, like this is like something that like is feeding to people's darkest innermost desires.
It's the embodiment of the id.
Of the id.
Yes.
Oh, the brain thing. Yeah, I forget. That was man. Yeah, my God, it's so old. You want to explain that?
Yeah. So the id is basically a Freudian term that refers to people's like internal desires that they just feel without necessarily thinking about.
Yeah, and yeah, these are basically this Westworld lets you act on your innermost desires where you normally would not. Like you'd feel them, you may want to like may want to even do them, but like you won't because society and like because it's wrong. Which this world was like a place where you could go and let all that out and put it behind.
Consequence free.
Yeah, and it was just like that. Just that concept like blew my mind, and I was like, "This is crazy." Like, I wonder how my friends would react if they went there. Like, because like the person you really see,
yeah,
like you see like the person you see in front of you now, or your friend or your whoever.
Yeah.
Them in Westworld would probably be. I bet you like 99% of people would change. Would be a person you'd be like, wow.
Are a different person than you would expect. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that idea, that whole concept was just like, it made it like crazy to me.
Well, and that was a central theme to the first season.
Yeah.
Is, in the very beginning, I think it was in the second episode, we meet William, who when he goes into Westworld, he chooses in the beginning, he's like, do I pick a white hat or a black hat? And even though that's a very simple fashion choice, it also kind of signifies, do you want to be a good guy or a bad guy? And his friend, Logan, who is basically a terrible person, is like, I want to see the real you. I want to see who you are when you don't have to worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
And through most of the season, William is this very reserved person that is still kind of like not letting go. And ultimately, we learn that William is the man in black, who is the complete opposite, because by the end he has kind of learned that he can let go and do whatever, and that is his truest self. And I think, Ollie, what you're saying is, I think a lot of us maybe are closer to the man in black than we are William, if we truly were to kind of look inward.
Absolutely, I 1,000% believe that. I think most people just suppress that completely or whatever, but I absolutely believe that no matter how good you are, how good you think you are, or how good you say you are, or make yourself believe you are, giving no consequences, people would be completely different.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Another theme that's really strong through the first season is, what is being alive? What is something that is real versus something that's not? And this is something that you and I actually talked about a lot when we talked about the last season of Black Mirror.
Yes.
Because there were several episodes where there were either simulations or like consciousness of people, but it wasn't the people themselves. And you and I actually argued, like, is this a person? Is like someone's consciousness, like a separate consciousness of their person? Is that thing alive?
Yeah.
And this question kind of comes up again with the hosts. Like, are these people, even though they're obviously not like naturally made, they're artificially made. But like, where it blurs the line, because obviously we learned that Bernard, who you think is a human in the beginning, we learn is a host towards the end. and some of the hosts kind of take control over their own identities. So like, what does it mean? Where's that line of what's human, or not even human? What's a person
Yeah,
and what's not?
I think towards the end, like they started like defining it as well in this series, not like in Me and You, but as in this series was like the host can be replaced, so they're robots. Like you can kill a host and remake it, so they're not we're not real. We're real because we're blood. When you kill us, we're gone forever. And that I feel like that's how they're kind of defining it. They got more. I think they go more to a little more to it in season 2. I won't go into it right away. Yeah. But basically, in season 1, that's basically what it was. Like if you're human, you have blood and flesh, and when you die, you die. If you're a host, you can get shot like 20,000 times, and we can revive you as like back to normal, or clean you up, or make a duplicate of you, and so you are not. So you're like not real, or yeah.
So, but I think like one of the important things is it asks the viewer that question.
Yeah.
Like what defines?
Where's the line? Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the line? What defines real? Is it do you have, do you have full control over what you're doing? Are you not programmed to do anything? Even though I would argue that people in some way are kind of naturally programmed to do things, just like the hosts are.
Yeah.
But it becomes interesting. Like once at the end of the season, Maeve, what is separating her from a human? Is it just the fact that she can be physically repaired? I don't know. I think that's part of it.
It's interesting too because like some of the hosts were given like past or backgrounds and how they were raised. We saw that. How they're raised, how they're brought up.
Well, essentially, all of them were given kind of a background to kind of play with their internal narrative on,
and to build around to think on it, and that didn't happen. Like, it's just something people program into their brain, right?
Exactly.
So like, that's kind of tough because it's also kind of like loops back into almost like the last like the Teferi section where some guy's willing to kill somebody else because of how they were taught and raised. Is that any different? Is that any different than programming?
It's and that's a great question, and I don't believe that it is. Yeah. I think when you're taught something, like as children, right? When you're taught to do something, how is that different than programming? How is a teacher different than a programmer in that sense?
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, your instinct might be, or your natural inclination might to be pee all over the toilet seat, but I'm teaching you, don't do that. Pee in the middle of the toilet seat.
Yeah.
Right. This is something you're teaching a child, and it's like, and they do it over and over. You're like, no, I'm course correcting, and I'm teaching you. This is the way. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because this is what is expected.
And that is like programming, but it may not be a programming with like machines and computers and chips, but it's still absolutely programming.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I really wish that like we had this podcast when the first season of Westworld was on, because this is like, in my opinion, I don't know that this is the best show on TV, but I think it is by far the most interesting. Like by a mile, the most interesting show on television.
Okay.
And I know that's going to be a point of contention for some people.
Sure.
But I think just the level of thought provoking discussion points that this show creates just around it is pretty awesome, because like you can go back and watch each of these episodes like multiple times and get something out of it uniquely each watch.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to right now I'm trying to think of something that's more like interesting or more like, I don't know, Black Mirror makes me think too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Black Mirror, I think Black Mirror was more surprising to me than anything else. So I think for me that would be good Black Mirror, because like I'm always like each not to derail, but
no, go ahead.
For Black Mirror, it was like each episode was like could be so unique, like you know what to expect, and
sure.
And I've never been so mind blown, mind screwed, as I have with the one episode of Black Mirror, the entire history of you. That just destroyed my mind, and I think that's the reason that's like why Black Mirror is just so big in my head right now, because that was like a killer.
And that's fair. And for me, I like the the multi-episode like narrative that they build in this show.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, this is your spoiler warning for season 2, episode 1 of Westworld. So again, this is your spoiler warning. Season 2, episode 1. For us, I'm going to note the time. Okay. All right. Into episode 1 of season 2.
Okay, so real quick before I forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said what they define what's real or not. This was said multiple times in episode 1 was something that is irreplaceable. That is what's real.
Yes.
Over and over again, they said what's real is something that is irreplaceable.
Yep. And I think obviously they're meaning human life.
Yes,
but
is that not? Yeah.
Is that what they mean? Do they mean experience? Because a combination of experience for how long these hosts have been around, like not just the generic ones, but the ones that are like the primary focus of the narrative, Dolores and Bernard, who has lived not only a singular life but a whole entire life that a person lived who is made off of Arnold.
Yeah.
And that phrase is kind of said ironically to him, right?
Yeah.
To Bernard.
Yeah.
Who they don't know as a host.
I think
we know as a viewer.
Yeah, we know as a host, but at some point, like I think some might know. I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows. And Dolores knows.
Well, Dolores knows. Yeah, but he got scanned too, didn't he? And he was, I don't know. I thought there was something's pointing that maybe some might know as a host or not.
I don't know. I think Dolores, Maeve knows.
Yeah.
Because she stopped him in season 1 when he was like. That's when we kind of found out, because she like stopped him with like her like verbal commands.
Yeah. And
that's when he freaked out.
Yeah.
And we know Dolores knows because she pretty much knows everything at this point.
Well, she can. Well, from where we left off, Dolores can see the past, the present, and even the future. And it's like she has that like.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously super unclear, but.
Right, but that's like she's like special in that way, and then Maeve is special in the way that she can like shut down other hosts.
Yeah, but that's something because she learned the technology behind.
Right. And like also they actually manipulated like her emotions and who she was. Like she wasn't just like a. Yeah, I can remember that. Like yeah. But season like it was so weird watching episode 1 of season 2 for me because I was like, I personally believe season 1 could have ended where it was and
never come back.
And it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a very fantastic show. Again, like you said, it had rewatch value. So opening up another season, like it's kind of like, well, to me, it's like why? It's okay.
You have to. They don't have a this. I agree. I don't think they have a choice, but to make this season better than season 1, and that is a tall order.
Yeah, and also like the way it's opening up. Again, I told you what grabbed me from the start was just the idea of Westworld.
Yeah.
When like the whole inner person or darkness.
Yeah.
And now
it asks the viewers a lot of questions, and you have those answered.
Yeah, and now it's
in some way.
And now I feel like it's like a Terminator movie, like Terminator vs humans. And it's just like these are smart Terminators. They can like go and blend into humans and kill their target very easily. And it's just like I'm trying to like they're going to do a lot like episode 1 was good, but they're going to need to keep it like that or intrigue me and pull me back in because right now it's not the same. It's not the same show that I fell in love with, which was again the whole idea, because now it's like them versus like you know.
It's not the same show. It's not the same show. It's
completely different. Also completely different. Like the genre is almost different.
In the same in the final episode of season 1, they literally like. I mean, they turned everything on its head. You won't have these stories of people coming to visit Westworld. Like that won't happen anymore.
Yeah.
There's this mass murder that happened where the basically the rides in the park have killed all the people that came to the park.
Yeah.
Now they were just the shareholders, but still human beings.
And they keep looking at Bernard like, Bernard, can't believe you did this, Bernard. Man, how'd you go make these hosts and let them kill everybody, Bernard? Bernard's like, holy crap, guys. He's still shocked that he's still a host. Like he's still like this.
He and he's like, as they're talking to him, like even in the little flashback scene when they're in the barn with Charlotte, he's just like there's the weight of the realization of what he is still on him.
Oh, heavily.
And when he wakes up on the beach, it's the same too. But at the very, I mean, he takes when they find all of those dead hosts, he's the one that takes responsibility for it.
Yeah.
He's like I did this. Which
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I have enough faith based on season 1. Like they've accrued enough goodwill with me where I'm like, okay, this will make sense. Whether this is going to like they're going to tell me how it makes sense or they're going to make this interesting, and that's fine. Like I'm okay building to something because I know that last time it got somewhere.
Yeah, and again, like mentioned earlier, we also learned that Westworld, like whenever you went to Westworld, they were collecting your like DNA, your skin samples, your hair. Like that was part of the waiver you signed. Like they were allowed to collect all that stuff and then do whatever they want with it. That's part of like what you signed. And it's crazy because like not only that, but they're also following like they're following the humans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like if you thought like there's recently, you probably don't know this, but recently there's like this scandal with Facebook, Facebook like taking a bunch of information.
No, I know. There was a congressional hearing.
Okay, well, all right. Well, so it's like Facebook, but like on a much bigger scale because they have your DNA, not just like what you searched or what you thought about or clicked on. Like so they have your DNA, what you're interested in, so they can definitely like sell that stuff to advertisers as well.
Whomever.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I think that this season I'm gonna miss Ford, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, for sure.
He
was great.
He was the emotional core.
Who knows? He's gonna come back.
I don't think he's gonna come back. He was certainly the core to me, the core of season 1. He's like the most like intimidating person like as any character ever.
Yeah.
He's like he's completely terrifying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what role he's playing. He's just like everything about him. It's just I don't know. That's going to be really hard to replicate. There were so many times where he had these little monologues, and it's just like everything else. The whole show slows down around every last word that he's saying, and I think that it's going to be noticeably missing from this season, and that's kind of my biggest concern going into season 2.
Yeah. We also noticed that the whole world's involved now, obviously with this Westworld leak, but also Bernard seemed like he was dying in a sense. He has X amount of time to live, or not live, but when he used this thing to scan himself. Do you remember? I don't know what to make of that. Okay.
I think that's just like that's one of the there's so many little things that just like this doesn't make sense and you haven't given me enough clues to make a guess yet.
Okay, well, it seems like to me it seems like he was like basically like slowly dying, but we'll see. And then at the end we go to the lake that no one knew was there, and we see all the hosts.
Yeah.
Which he claims that he did it.
Yeah.
Or he says like I did this, but obviously we can tell it's like it's suicide. We don't know it's suicide, but
that's kind of I don't know. Like there's just so like of course like we would be foolish to come into the first episode of a season and be like, oh, we have less questions than we did before we came in, and we totally know what's going on. Yeah. Like we know better than that for the show.
Right.
Well, like they like leaving us clues, but I don't think episode 1 is where we're going to figure anything out.
Okay. Well, I do like how this in episode 1 they set the role of it's like a role reversal type deal where usually it's like the guy that's the bad one and dark, and the woman is like, don't be so dark. Like, is this really what you want? And this is like switched. The gender roles are switched. Now it's Dolores is like all dark and like wants to kill humans, and the other guy, what's his name? her boyfriend type.
Teddy.
Yes, he's like, "Is this what you want?"
Kill count 1 on Teddy for the season, by the way.
Okay. he's like, "Is this really what you want, Dolores? Like, this is what you wanna, this is what you wanna make, whatever." It's just. So it's kind of nice to see that the gender role reverse there.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, one of my favorite things about this show is there's no clear protagonist antagonists.
Yep.
Like, it's just everyone that's just in this gray area. Like, is like previously in season 1 is like the Man in Black the bad guy? Well, there's not really any bad guys. It depends on what kind of side you're on. Is Charlotte Hale the bad guy because she's stealing data, but she's stealing it from this big corporation? Like, who's, I don't know. Yeah. Are there bad guys and good guys? Does it change from scene to scene? Does it just depend on your interpretation of the situation? I don't know.
Is the bad guy? I don't know. I don't know either. It's hard to guess or say things just from episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we're gonna obviously keep watching, and we're gonna come back to Westworld. So I guess this is a good time for us to kind of share what our plan is for this show.
One more thing before we go to that, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Man in Black, when he basically he says, "This game was made for you." The little boy, he's like his voice box almost.
Well, it's young Robert Ford. It's young Anthony Hopkins.
Right. He's like, "This game is made for you," and he's ecstatic.
He's like, "Yes, I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew."
Yeah, and then he just kills him. It's just like, I guess I have no use for you anymore. It's just like,
that's the start of the game.
Yeah,
that's what Ford would have wanted. He knows what he's doing, even in death.
All right.
Okay, so what we're gonna do for Westworld is we're not gonna cover this show every single week. We have a few specific points throughout the season, basically roughly every 3 weeks, where we're going to come back to the show and revisit the things that we've talked about since the last time. So basically, for 10 episodes, we're going to have, we'll say about 4 Westworld episodes over the next 10 weeks. So you can expect us to talk about the show at those points. And in between that, we're going to cover our regular pop culture stuff, whether it be other movies, other TV shows, etc. The stuff that we normally do. But I kind of just wanted to give you guys an update because, when we did this with Game of Thrones, we did it for almost every episode, but we weren't very consistent just because there was other stuff going on in the world that we wanted to talk about. So we're going to try to handle it a little bit better and be more organized with how we do it. So you'll see Westworld again. It's just not going to be next week, and it probably won't be the week after that.
All right. Well.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so with that, we're going to jump out for a moment. When we return, question of the week. Oh, you know what it's time for?
Question of the week.
All right, so this week's question of the week is a big one.
All right.
And I'm ready to battle you.
I'm ready to win it. Let's go.
Okay.
One for the ages.
One for the ages, quite literally, because we're going to be looking back through all ages of Magic.
Gather legends.
The question of the week this week is Dominaria the best Magic set of all time?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And the reason for this is I'm going to say whatever your first set was when discovering Magic is the best Magic set. Basically like Alpha. Like Alpha would be someone from the very start discovering Magic, like, wow, this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter what's in the set, like how good or bad the set is, but it's like when you first started Magic, when you first fell in love with Magic and discovered what you like and don't like, and all these like standard decks that were around you, or even modern, because like basically back when I started playing, it was doing Torment and Odyssey Block, and in my head I'm like, those were the best times ever, and it probably wasn't. Like I even know, but I remember like there was like Mirari, there's like a mono black deck, there was like a a Sakatog deck that was kind of sweet. There was this like Phantom Nishoba stitched together deck, and then like a little further there was like this Astral Slide deck, and there was like this Wild Mongrel deck. I don't know. It was just basically like that was basically the best time for me. And I don't really remember how healthy the format was, but it didn't matter because that was just like when I fell in love with Magic, and that's what's important to me. And that's why I think everyone's best set varies depending on when you start playing Magic. But ultimately, if I had to say one set, I would just say Alpha because that's when Magic was born. So
yeah, I think Alpha is a little bit of a cop out, but I think your answer is a little bit of a cop out. But I'm gonna let it slide.
Okay.
Because your answer is Dominaria is not the best Magic set. Every other set is the best Magic set to every other person.
That's true, though.
So you think Dominaria would be the best Magic set for no one?
No, it's not true. I didn't say that.
So Dominaria will be the best Magic set
for some people. Sure. Yes.
See, that's a cop out.
It's not a cop out.
Anyway, my answer is all around. I believe that this set that literally just came out is the greatest Magic set in history. I think this set is going to cause the resurgence of Magic. I think we're getting ready to go into the largest popularity bump of the game, and I think Dominaria has a lot to do with it. This set literally has something for everyone, no matter how you like to play Magic, whether it's competitively, whether it's casually, kitchen table, Commander, you like to play limited.
Online.
This set literally has it all. I would ask someone, like, what do you like about Magic? And tell me why you don't like Dominaria. And I bet no one. I bet there's not a single person. I'm asking you if you want to hit me up on Twitter and tell me why you don't like this set or why you think this is not one of the best, not the best set ever. I'll take you to task on it, because I literally believe this is. It's so all-encompassing. It has nostalgia. It has flavor. It has beautiful art. It has excellent mechanics. The cards are very good. They're multi-format playable. You're going to be seeing this set for a really long time make its mark on the history of Magic. It's no surprise Richard Garfield was a big part in designing this set. Just like Alpha, 25 years later, this set is going to be the hallmark of Magic for a long, long time.
Richard Garfield.
I'm done closing the book on it.
Keep on. Go back to working. Make more Magic sets.
Yeah. So you know the last 3 sets that he worked on?
What? Alpha?
Dominaria. No. Dominaria. Innistrad. Ravnica.
All
historically beloved sets.
Why don't they just hire him?
What do you mean? Why don't
I guess they can't just hire him?
Why don't they just hire him? What are they going to pay him? He made the game.
$6 million. I don't know. It's great. It's fantastic. His sets are amazing.
Yeah, he's the best. He's probably just like the best game designer in the world. Like not video game, but like game designer ever. So yeah, he's pretty good. Everything he touches is gold, probably for good reason, because he's the literal best.
He's Midas touch.
Yeah, pretty much. The Garfield touch is more like. So Ali, that's the show for this week. So where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Twitter / Ali Aintrazi, Twitch / Ali Aintrazi. My articles go up on Gathering Magic every Friday, but this week I had a set review.
Every day,
article every day on the set review for Standard. And I think I hit the nail on the head for vast majority of these cards. So it feels really nice.
Yeah, it's a great set. Yeah. Some would say the best ever.
All right. What about you, Parnell?
You can find me on Twitter as well. I'm at jparnell1 on Twitter. You can also find me on StarCityGames.com and YouTube. I'm the host of the Commander Versus series. Every Wednesday, we are at full swing of Season 11, so if you're not watching that, you should check it out. For the show, You can find us on a ton of social media outlets. We're Thinktwice MTG on all of the following outlets. You can find the show on SoundCloud. You can find the show on iTunes. You can find the show on YouTube. And now you can find the show on Stitcher. You can also find us on Twitter at ThinktwiceMTG on Twitter. You can find us on twitch.tv/ThinktwiceMTG. And you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/ThinktwiceMTG. For any of those, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channels, follow the show if you can. If you're feeling particularly nice, feel free to leave us a comment or a review. That really helps us kind of reach out and let people see the show that might not have experienced it before. And that's really what we want to do, is continue to grow the show so we can continue to bring you awesome stuff. Specifically on the Patreon front, we have two new patrons that we want to give three new patrons that we want to give a shout out to: Matt L, Ross G, and Tony B. We thank you very, very much for your support, guys. We're going to try to continue to bring you awesome content. Ali, you and I have also talked, along with our director John Choi, about some changes to Patreon that we're going to be kind of we're going to be rolling out in the next couple of weeks. It's just going to be more good things, so you guys can have easier access to us and the content that we want to be making for you guys. If you're not supporting the show and you have, a buck lying on the ground and you're not going to miss it if it goes under your bed, we'd love to have it. Any support we can have helps grow the show and helps make it better. And we want to try to give that back to you in the form of cool stuff.
Yeah. So the Tooth Fairy or the Santa Man leaves you some extra dollar or two, ship it over. Help you out.
If it's gonna fall out of your pocket and you wouldn't miss it, well, we would love your support in that way as well. We want to specifically thank our graphic designer Amber West. You can find her work at amberwestdesign.com. Of course, again, we want to thank our director and producer John Choi, and we want to thank our Agent of Bolus producers Daniel Hunt and Josh Lyons. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We also want to thank everyone who turned into our twitch.tv/ThinktwiceMTG stream earlier this week when we did the early access Dominaria event. We're going to be getting our streaming schedule set up pretty soon, so you guys can see that on a more regular basis. We're both really excited about that.
For sure.
Ollie, that's the show for today.
All right.
I'm not singing in the outro. I did that last week. Did not go over well. People did not love it. They loved making fun of me about it, and that's fine. That's part of it.
All right.
I get it.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Unless you're at your home.
I know who I want to take me home. I know. Good night, Parnell. I love you and everybody watching this show. Thank you all so much, and goodbye.
Love you too, Ali. We'll see you guys next week.